think you can start now. Okay, so we looked at tables. We looked at tables when we did HTML, and we have to write a little bit of styling to make it nicer. And as you already know, Bootstrap makes our job very, very easy without writing anything. We can just have a nice table. So as you already know, if you want to have a table, so let's go into code mode. Do some of these things. Let me set up the our okay. So we did actually did go with tables in our previous lesson. Then we talked about how tables are structured. And at the end of the day, when we created our table, if you remember, and it wasn't that nice. So this was an example of tables in HTML. Now you can actually have a nice table in Bootstrap. So as I said the other time, Bootstrap, there are two ways of having Bootstrap in your code. The first one is using CDN, and the second one is downloading it into your project. So I think we experimented with each of those. I'm going to continue, and in this case, I'm going to have, let's say, table, call it bootstrap HTML. Okay, just the basic HTML stuff. So let's have a table, head, r, h. So let's have another CR in. Let's say H. Okay, so let's save. Nothing fancy. Let's go to our. So this is how our table looks like. Now let's try and add Bootstrap to it and see how it's going to be. I prefer using the CDN. It's very easy to get started with. So just go there, copy the link. So you put the CSS at the head tag. Then you download the JavaScript bundle. So download, just copy it instead. Then it should be the last thing before the closing body. Okay, look at where it is. Before I close the body, there's script. The link is there. Let's go to the page and see if you have something. Now, would that do anything? You already know with Bootstrap, you just have to apply classes. So the base class is table. So table, and now look at it. We're just having, we've not added anything, and we're having this nice table. Just a plain table without adding anything. We're just having this nice table. Okay, so let's continue. Let's try and add the T body. So TR, TD. I hope you've not forgotten all this. So let me just duplicate this. Another one. So you get it. Just this is just a dummy data. So look at it. Without adding anything, we are just having this nice table. Now, let me, if I take the class off, this is what automatically we get. But we have not written any class, just not written any CSS, just applying table to it, and you are getting a very nice design. So this is Bootstrap table. We have a whole lot of classes for a table. We are going to apply them one by one and see how they are. So if you want table, they are when it comes to the Bootstrap documentation, it's under content table. So the basic is the table. Now you can also apply this kind of classes to it. Okay, so you can have table primary, table secondary. You remember, or when you talked about it, that this based on the class that you give primary danger, they will change the color of the table. The next class that is very important in Bootstrap is striped. So the base class is table, and you add table hyphen stripe. Now, if you do that, it will, you see, the first row has kind of a gray background. The second one has white and so forth. So it's going to alternate as to the number of rows that you have. So if I add table striped, and when I go to our page, as you can see, it's alternating nicely. So if I have more data, let me try as much as possible to have more data here. As you can see, it's making it look nice. Like for the first one is has a background, the other one doesn't, and so forth. So it becomes nice to look at. Now that is striped. Okay, if you want to have this effect, this is the class that you have to apply. Now the next one is so the table that table primary whatever would just kind of give it the color. So if I do table dark, it's just going to make my table have the dark theme. Okay, you can make it success. I think there's a typo somewhere. Left one C. So as you can see, make it green, and the striping is laid out nicely. You can play with danger, warning, primary, secondary, as we learn the latter. So how you want your table to feel, you can just be adding those classes to it. Okay, so that is changing the color of the table. Is someone's hand up? Okay. Yeah, Emmanuel, you can ask your question. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello?
Yeah, your hand is up. You can ask your question.
Yes, I wanted to find out in the table if you had wanted to adjust the width so that it will auto fit the text or the heading of the column. How will you have done it? Which
I don't understand.
the table you designed?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I don't see any columns.
So these are the columns. So what I did was, let me take this one out. So I had two columns. One with just list of students, and let me take this one out.
I think he's trying to say he's not seeing borders. So for you to see the column borders.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this ones you are not seeing the borders around the columns, right?
Yes.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
get
what
it.
I'm saying.
So okay, that's fine. So there's a class that will bring all those things together. Okay, there's a class that will show you the borders around the columns. Do you understand? This is just a basic table in Bootstrap, and this is how it's been. This is how the design is like. If you don't apply that kind of class, you apply it and you see the difference. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
this is yes. You keep in mind there's a class you apply and it will kind of bring the borders for you to see. But automatically, the table will always try as much as possible to adjust to the content that you put in each table. So let's say if I have a longer name, it's going to make sure it fit that one and assign the remaining space to the least number of text that is on that table. So don't worry, this is just you've applied you've applied the table striped, then the color. Let's go on. I think you get to know what I mean. Now, the next class is table hover. Now, what table hover does is when you pass the mouse around it, it just gives you a hover effect to let you know which table, which row that you are on. Okay, the same thing. If you apply the themes to it, you're going to have it. The stripe also you can also have, so you can combine all of them. So let's apply the table hover. First of all, let me take the stripe out so that the table having hover. Let's go there. Now, this is our table. If I pass the mouse on it, as you can see, it tries as much as possible to highlight the current row that we are on. Now you can combine as many class that you want. So table dark, table stripe. Okay, so you can apply as many class that you want on it, and automatically Bootstrap is going to do it for you. It just makes it nicer, and but you should make sure you don't apply a lot of colors in your theme, your web page. It makes it difficult to read. So as much as possible, try to have a plain layout. Now, so let me take the table dark off. So you have the stripe and the hover. So that is hover for you. The next one is active. So if you want to mark a particular row, look at this one. To have that kind of gray background, you can just do table active and automatically that table is going to be selected. For example, if let me take the stripe off, the hover, so I just have the basic table, nothing fancy. Now if I want this, let's do it on the second one. The second one to have this kind of gray background, what you do is class, then you do table active, okay? Then automatically that particular row becomes selected. So you can play with all these classes to kind of bring a certain feeling to your table. Okay, so table dark, those things are done. So what Emmanuel, this is what you asked. Okay, if you want to have border, or if you want to show the border lines for your table, what you apply is table bordered. Okay, so just apply the class table bordered, and automatically Bootstrap will have the lines to show you where each column starts and where each column ends. Is that okay? Is that what you asked?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So that is, if you want to, yes, if you want to have a border on a table, you have to just apply table bordered, and automatically you're going to have all this nice border around your table. Now, if you remember, we talked about this kind of class. Let me move the table inside this one so that you have a feeling of what I mean. Okay. You also remember this helper function. If you want to do margin top, just do empty, then hyphen the number of space you want, automatically there. So this is how the table border behaves. It gives you a visual effect of how a table is. And all this one, we have not written any CSS. Automatically, Bootstrap gives us this, give this out of the box. Okay, so I think basically these are some of the things that you want to do. If you want to let your table have a particular color, as you've already seen, you can just do border primary. So automatically your table is going to have the primary color. Stella, apart from primary, what theme do you have in Bootstrap again?
We have secondary.
You have what?
Secondary.
Yeah, I don't get you. So you remember
secondary. She said secondary.
Secondary.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay. That's
Yeah.
secondary. So yes, so that is another theme, and you see the border has changed to a secondary color. Mr. Boadi, what other theme do you have apart from primary, secondary? What do you have?
We have danger.
Danger, perfect. So danger, and voila, our border is danger. Emmanuel, give me another theme.
Like 5 minutes ago. Hello?
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I missed that
So
part of the lesson. I just joined.
Okay. So you have a lot of things. So then you have to go to the video for last week. We talked about Bootstrap having themes. So you have primary, you have secondary, you have danger, you have warning, you have info. So based on the theme that you specify, Bootstrap is going to give it a particular color. So if you do warning, you have this orange color. Okay. Danger is red. You have success.
I think I was there. I remember. Yes, I remember.
You remember, yes. So these are some of the things that you can apply to your tables out of the box, and to just let your table stand out. Now, if you don't want to table to have any border, you can just apply table borderless, and automatically your table borders will just go away. So let me take this one off. So we do table borderless, and our table doesn't have any border anymore. So these are some of the classes that you can apply to your Bootstrap table to make it nicer. Now, automatically Bootstrap, you remember the screen size you've done MD, SM, XL. So these are types of these are just the sizes of Bootstrap that you can have. Automatically, if you don't specify, you're just going to get the normal Bootstrap. Okay. So let's apply table SM. Now our table shrinks to become a little bit smaller compared to the default one. So let me take the table SM off. So look at how it is. Now when you apply it, you see it has grown a little bit bigger. So if you want to have a small table, you can just apply table SM. Okay. The next on our list is vertical alignment. So if you want your table, the cells of a table always vertically aligned to the bottom, the table cells in the TV inherit their alignment from the table and are aligned to the top by default. Use vertical align to realign when needed. So if you by default, your tables, the contents are being aligned to the top. Okay, but you can use the vertical align to align your table to the middle, right, or wherever you want it to be. There is this thing that is also very important. Look at something like this. This one. Now, if you have a very long column, so now you have 9. Let me do it 12. So let's say this one you have 12 columns. Then let me try as much as possible to. I hope this is up to 12. So let's copy. So if you have a very large column, I'm going to demonstrate a problem that you may encounter. So our table has changed a little bit. Now, if you look at it, it's very nice on a larger screen. So on my laptop, everything seems nice. Now, what happens if someone uses a smaller phone? Let me go to. Okay, you see, everything is squished together. Do you understand? It becomes difficult to read what is what. Now, there's what you call table responsive. Now, what you do is you just have to put your table inside a div, then give that particular div a class called table responsive. So let's put a div here, then apply table responsive. So this, if you want to create something simple like this, VS Code make it easier. So first of all, put the container that you want. So I want a div, and I want a div with a class. So I brought a dot. So a div, then you specify or write the class. So table responsive. When you finish, just press tab. Automatically to create a div with a class that you wrote. So let me cut my table and put it inside the div with table responsive. Now let's go to our page and see what happens. Now you have horizontal line that you can slide to see the big table. Okay, so now you can, if the table is very huge, just wrap it around a table, a class called table responsive. So on smaller phones, your users can just slide and look at how the table is. So that is what table responsive does. So I think enough with the tables. If you have any question about tables, you can ask, or you can just go to the documentation and just play with whatever it is that is there. So basically, the important ones are what you've done so far. So you can just go through the Bootstrap documentation, play with it. Okay, so the next that I want us to look at is what I call CAD. Now, CAD are a special kind of container that makes your work stands out. So if you have a lot of document, a whole lot of element on a page, you can put some in a card. Just like a card is, or just like a paper is, it will have, it make it have that feeling or that appearance as if it is on a card. So this is an example of a basic Bootstrap card. And with all that we've learned with Bootstrap, all that you need to do is just know the class that you are applying. So here it just called card. So you do a div, then give it a class called card. The next one is you have a card body and just put your content within it. So this is an example of a card. So for example, I saw that someone did the same thing. If with a registration page, you can just put it a card and style it nicely. So let's try and have that one. So put login dot okay, generate it. Let's go and find just copy this. Then don't forget the JavaScript. Mostly your work will work without the JavaScript, but you don't want any surprises. Just put it there. Okay, so with everything as I said, just have a div, a class called container. Prefer putting in a container. Let's go margin top 5 to push it down small. So you just have a div with a class called card. Okay, then you have another div within with a class called card body. Okay, now let's just do a simple form. Let's see what you have. If that one should be boot login. Okay, so as you can see, the visual effect, there's this line that is on the page, but I don't want my card to fill the whole place. So div class row. So div, and I want it to just fill only 4. Yeah, 4 is okay. So I'm going to put my div inside. So now let's see. I think you guys, I made a mistake, so it should be call MD4, and that's it. It's too small. Let me increase it to 6. So that will take like half of the page. Okay. Now let's put our form, create a normal form within our card. So I prefer having a div, another div class row. Okay. Then have a div class call. I want it to fill the whole page. Then let's start with a form. So div class form group. So by now, I hope you know all these classes. They are all Bootstrap classes that I'm just calling. So I have a table. So this one will be email. So input, it, type, going to be email. Our class is going to be form control. Let's put a placeholder. Okay, now let's see what you have. As you can see, you are having this nice input over here. Now, the next one. So it's better you give it. So do the 4. So this one is going to be for email. Then there has to be an ID for email. It can be anything, but whatever you put inside the ID should map this one. Now what that does is, if you click on the label, automatically the form gets activated. Now let's put another group. I'm just going to copy it and paste. This is going to be password. The label is going to be password. The type is going to be password. It's going to be password. We are not going to have anything, or just replace it. The placeholder with start. So let's look at what you have. Our form is trying to take shape, but as you can see, the password and the email is kind of together. So let's apply a margin top to this 3. I prefer being consistent with 3, kind of let it, the spacing becomes the same. The next one that I have to do is give my margin top. Let's go 6, so that the bottom becomes a little bit away from. So then the class btn primary, and this is just a simple login form. Okay, so I think this one should be 5. I think the highest you can go is 5 or so. Okay, so this is a basic login form that we just created. I think it's too far from it. Let's be consistent with the 3. Okay, so this is a simple login form that I just create with Bootstrap. Now the card is making the whole thing stand out. If I gray out the background, it can stand up a little bit nicely. So if you want to have or kind of put a little bit border around your content, you can just put it with inside a card, then the body. So as you know, you can just do another div, then that should be class, then card title, right? So H3 login. Let's see what we have. No, I don't think that's the title. So it's card title. Rather, so let me copy that. Oh, okay, so that is inside the body. So just pay attention. So this should be within the body. Take this one off. So the card title should be within inside the card body. And now you have this nice login form that we just created. So what I mean is you can use Bootstrap to create UI very, very easily. You don't need to write any styling, and you have what you need within a second. So just go through the Bootstrap documentation and understand how it works. Okay, so for now, I'm taking it that you guys are experts in Bootstrap. Last week we did the forms and we just went through the tables and I've added a card. So please go through the Bootstrap documentation and familiarize yourself with it. Now, the next thing that I want us to do is learn how to edit templates. Okay, so I have a few templates I'll share with you. Then you can play with them at your own time. So I have a few of them. I'll share it with you. So start. Okay, so let's run it in our project. Yes. So this is a template that I downloaded from the internet. So let me stop. Okay, so this is a simple template that I got from Start Bootstrap. So as you can see, I've not done anything. This is just a simple template. It's just a blog that you can edit and make it your own, change the color, change the pictures, and edit it to actually make it look like your own. Now, how do you edit a template? Now, pay attention to the URL. Okay, if I click on the home, as you can see, you have index.html. Now, if I take this from the index.html from there, then I hit the same thing, I get the same page. So one thing with web is what the browser looks for when you visit your website is index.html or index.php or index.whatever. So the browser will first look for those things and use that as the starting page. So if you look at the folder that I have, there's index.html over here. So automatically, this is what the browser will call as soon as we visit our page. Okay. Now, if I click the about us, the URL has changed to about us.html. So that means that when you go to your project, there should be a file called about us.html. So this is it, the about us.html. So if I go to sample post, you see /post.html, then there should be a file post.html. So contact, the contact, if I click on it, the contact.html is whatever is inside the contact.html. Okay, so to edit a particular template, just look at the file, the structure, how it is, then go to the desired page, do your changes, and it should reflect automatically. Now, mostly most templates go with this flow. So they'll put all the CSS within one folder, okay, the JavaScript within one folder, then the asset, the images also within one folder. Then as you've learned, you can just link them straight up from there. So these are this is a sample page. We are on the index.html. There's the header. Okay. So all these ones are linking to external CSS. But the CSS first I start the CSS is the local one here. Okay, that's it. Now I told you earlier on that with Bootstrap 5, there's something like a semantic. So this nav is just a navigation header or something, just a navigational bar that there's this simple HTML tag called nav. So if you see a nav, then it means you're looking at a navigational header. Then there's a header tag. That's where your header will go. Then the container. So this is the Bootstrap classes that we've seen that are coming into play. The PS is padding. The X is on the horizontal. You see, if you remember what we did in mathematics, the X axis. So PS is apply a padding of 4, a particular unit to this particular div. Okay. Then there's PS LG5. So it means on the large screen, apply this amount of padding also. So there is the row. So I told you, as soon as you see a row, the next element should be a call. Okay. So these are basic Bootstrap classes that has been combined together to form this page that you are seeing. So let's go to the index page. So on the top here, that is the navigation bar. Okay. Then you have start Bootstrap. So if you want to change it, what you can do is there are two ways. So there's a start Bootstrap over here. So let's say if I want to change this start Bootstrap to a web class, I just go to the page. Then either you search start up. So the idea is saying that we have at least 7 places that one will that have the start Bootstrap. So as you can see, the start Bootstrap was on the top, the nav. So this is it. I can change it to web class. Now if I go to the page, automatically it has changed. Okay, let's say the home. If you want to change it, just go to the page, look for where it is. So this is home. So let's say so change it, and automatically it should change on the page. So you can play with it and change things, go to where it is, and just have a feeling of how the page looks like. So as you can see, there's another content over a clean block. So where is the clean block? There is it. So clean, and change it to nice block. Okay, so all that I'm doing is you can change, you can pick a particular theme and make it look nicer or work for you. As you can see, there's a a background image. Now, where is that particular image? Just look through it. There's it, background image, and it's img home bg. So if I go to my assets folder, to go to img, then there's home bg, and that is what is showing over here. Okay, so if you have another picture, you can just put it there and link it. So let's change it to the about bg and see what we have. And voila, you've changed the picture. So you can put your own picture there and let it be, you know what I mean, your own thing. So you can change as much anything as you want. So this is okay. So change it. The next is this test over here. So if you go to the page, this is the test. Okay, so just look at where it is and change whatever you want to. The my is margin on the y-axis, so it's going to apply just unit of space between the y-axis. So you can just go to the page, change whatever you want it to be, and add styling, pages, whatever, and make it suit you. So you can change the whole flow. For example, this on Hoover is changing the color, and as you can see, automatically is black. Okay, you can go crazy with your Bootstrap classes that you've learned. So this one, okay, so I can just do test process. So as you can see, the test color has changed to green. So these are some of the things that you can do. Just go to your pages, look at where it is, then you can just go to the HTML, find it, and change it. This is just a way to show you how you can change things on a particular theme. So you can have a theme, edit it, and add things to it to make it nicer. The next one is the contact us page. For example, if you don't want how it is looking, you can just go in there and change it. So if I want to change this one, okay, the contact me, and this have been told to change it to contact the company. What I have to do is just go to the contact.html and change it over there. So just go to the contact.html and look for contact me. Yes, there's it. So let's change it, contact us or contact our company, and voila. So this is how you can just go through an HTML template and make it your own. Just go in, change things, and kind of come out with whatever you want it to be. And as you can see, all of these things are just Bootstrap classes that has been applied to achieve whatever it is there. So I'm going to drop those themes inside the WhatsApp, inside the pages, the Skype page. Just use it to create your own kind of website, edit it and let it suit you, and share the link on the page and let us all have a feeling of what is going on. So I'm going to share it. After the class, you can download it, then play with it on your page. So basically that is the end with the initial initial HTML, CSS, and now we've dealt with Bootstrap. So our next class is we are just going to go straight into the JavaScript and start programming. This is just a way to let you have a feeling of how HTML is, because it's important that you know how you structure a page, then you can apply JavaScript to make your life easier. So if you have any question, you can ask. Alpha, if you have any contribution to, please feel free to add.
Oh yes, I think you've basically said it all, and then you've given them how to make their work very fast. I mean, doing things the old way, the traditional way. Sorry, doing things the traditional way by typing all that CSS and then writing all those HTML, it can be very tedious, to be honest. Yeah, imagine if you have a whole website to build, let's say in 2 or 3 days. So you can do it, but then it will take a whole lot of time. So using these themes as a starter and then just moving things here and there and then coming up with your own stuff, customizing it to suit your need would ultimately help you work very fast. So you have to really take it serious. I think Amos shared the file, so just go through them and then customize them as much as you can and just get used to it. Especially with the Bootstrap, just learn all the classes, what they mean, how you can manipulate them. I mean, basically, just memorize them because you really need them. You really need them to make your work very fast, and then in the long run, you realize that you've actually learned a lot, and then it's making you do a whole lot. So, I think basically that's what I would say. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
That's
but I
fine.
don't know.
Thanks a lot.
The class didn't really ask a lot of questions. I don't know if they are okay with the Bootstrap, because there are a whole lot involved in Bootstrap. And then, per what we did, I know most of it were just basics and all that, but then they weren't really asking a lot of questions. So I wanted to know if they are doing their own homeworks and all that, or they are yet to. So this question goes out to the class. So Stella, Emmanuel, yeah. Are you guys going through the Bootstrap yourself, or you have some prior knowledge?
No, I don't have a prior knowledge, but I'm a class behind. That's why it looks like I'm not contributing in this particular class. So if I face any challenge like I did the other time, I'll definitely reach out.
Okay, sure. How about you, Stella? I know you're a top guru, so
For now, I don't have general knowledge, but I'm leading the communication. So with that,
okay,
I'm trying to the documentation to know what's
okay,
going on there.
okay. That's fine. Yeah. All right. And then I think Amos, I think that will be for me. Yeah, Peter just joined. Yeah, Peter. Same goes out to you too. I don't know if you have any issue, if you have any problem, or you have any questions concerning the Bootstrap, and you're okay with it.
Oh yeah, I'm very okay with it. Just that we need to sit up and then get more details on it. But for now, I'm okay.
Okay. That's fine. All right. Those are quite some positive feedbacks from you guys. So we are hoping for the better. Yeah. All right. Ross, Aaron.
Yes, so I think that is that for today. Please try as much as possible to make the Bootstrap documentation your home, and try as much as possible to use it. See you next in class. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah. Before we sign off, so with the Bootstrap, W3 schools also have a session on Bootstrap. So whilst you are going through the documentation on the actual Bootstrap site, you might as well make some time to go through the version on W3 schools, because for them they really give you example, like they give you basic steps and for you to do things basically. So you can also use that site as well. So use the W3 school Bootstrap section and then use the Bootstrap site to play along with the template you've been given. All right. So I think that'll be it for today. So thank you guys. See you hopefully on Friday.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Sure.